Again, good evening, folks. We want to say welcome to another edition of My Lutheran Connections. Um, we want to we are coming to you today live from our studios there in Columbus, Ohio, with our Reverend V. Sexter Yakwaso and our brother Jerry Tablo there in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Today happens to be the birth anniversary of our co-host, our brother Josiah Jokai. We want to start off the show by wishing him a happy birthday. And also tomorrow is going to be the birth anniversary of our co-host, brother B. Abel Lewally. We also want to say a pre-happy birthday. Um, Without further much waste of time, today we have with us the Reverend Moses B. Gobah. We are going to be looking at post-election reflection. That's the topic for today. And we're not going to waste much of your time. We're going to go strictly to Freetown, Sierra Leone to join there our brother Jerry Tablo, who's going to be leading our show for today.
Thank you very much, Willie. And I want to say welcome to our viewers from across the world. And I also want to welcome our dynamic Reverend V. Lester Lilai Yakwazo, Senior HPIC. I hope I got everything right. You are most welcome. And Willie, thank you so much for being a very good host. I want to join you to send a shout to our brother and friend, Josiah Jokai, and also pre-birthday to our brother, Abe Leweri. Tonight, we are having, or this evening, or whatsoever part of the world you are, we are having with us as our special guest, the Reverend Moses Gobah. As you may well know, Reverend Gobah is one of our pastors in the Lutheran Church of Liberia, and Reverend Gobah was one of those contestants or candidates who participated in our just ended bishopric elections. We invited Reverend Gobah tonight so that he can give us his own reflection and perspective of what, went on during the elections, his highs, his lows, and then what may be a recommendation to the new leadership. So we ask you to stay tuned, stay glued, and then we'll also give you the opportunity, as usual, to send in your question either by text or via the telephone. Our brother Wady will be putting the number up as we go along in the show so you can have the opportunity to call. Reverend Gobah, we want to say welcome so much to my Lutheran Connection. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I want to say thank you, Jerry and Willie, for inviting. I know this has been a long-awaited journey to come and join you on your show, but I'm happy that finally it's possible today. Everything got time, so I think that's an appropriate time. So I took it upon myself to honor your invitation. And I want to say thank you. At the same time, I want to join you, Willie, and the others, wishing our brother Josiah Jocket blessed happy birthday. I hope you enjoy your day. And a pre-birthday shout to our other brother, Abel, for his birthday that is coming up pretty soon, probably tomorrow or the after tomorrow, one of them. I want to say I love you. I love you guys, and thank you for all that you do for the church and for the public.
Thank you, Reverend. I mean, this really has been a long-awaited time, and we are so excited and fascinated to have you on set tonight. And we can assure you that it's going to be a smooth ride. If you want it to be smooth, it's going to be rough. If you want it to be rough.
I'm not complicated. I'm not technical. I'm easy to deal with. Trust me for that. Trust me.
Okay, Larry. So we're going to go first round of 2 questions each, and I will begin the ball rolling. But firstly, asking you, we have understood over the years that the clergy in the LCL have established an institution, or what we call a sorority, in an institution we call clergy. Howbeit, we saw that in the process, during the elections, a protest was filed against you, detesting that you were not in the family of clergymen. How do you take that? Did you feel dejected? What was your moment at that time? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Let me just set the premise. I would say I consider myself a born and raised Lutheran, baptized in the Lutheran church all my life. The only church I know so far that I've been part of is the Lutheran church in Liberia. The Lutheran church nurtured me. It was the Lutheran church that recommended me to go to seminary. And I came out of seminary and I served the church since my ordination this year, making 24 years of service. To God be the glory. So it is true that at times we as pastors, we travel. It's not the only person who has traveled before. So I know there were a lot of politics involved. As you said, you know, we don't want to go too personal with things, but thank God that was settled and it came behind us. So I still consider myself to be part of the church, and then the best way is to move forward.
Okay, that's good. That's a brilliant way to answer the question, and being very meticulous so that we cannot jump into anything personal and keep it generic. My second question, then I will yield the time to Reverend Yakwazo. My second question is, Reverend Gobah, who is this person? Maybe that would have been the first question before the first question I asked.
I thought it that way, you know, to introduce myself to your audience.
Yeah,
I was trying to already do it. And the Reverend Gobah, yeah, that's a good question. Reverend Gobah is a Liberian, born. My place of birth is
Reverend Gobah, you on mute.
You are muted. Yeah, you are still muted.
Yeah, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
You want to go over it? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the Reverend Gobah is a born Liberian, from two Liberian parents. Carried me to the Lutheran church from my early. In my youth, I was baptized and nurtured within the Lutheran church in Liberia. Particularly, I was a member of the St. Peter's Lutheran Church. And then I served in the evangelism department as a young man coming up. I used to like, community outreach. And the church saw it. Pastor Allison then recommended me to go to seminary. After seminary study, by then I had left the University of Liberia to go to seminary, however. So I went to seminary, graduated, and then I was assigned to Harrisburg. That was my first parish, Harrisburg and Maysburg. So I served this church since my ordination for 24 unbroken years. And only God takes the glory. I am married, happily married. I have two girls. They're turning out to teenagers, so that helped me a lot. I don't have to be worried. I still worry about them, but they are growing up, so they can control themselves in some areas. I don't have to be carrying them around. So that's about a little bit about me. As we go on, you can ask some specific questions about Reverend Gobah. I'll be pleased to tell you and your audience who Reverend Gobah is.
Reverend Yakwazo, please, your two questions, sir.
Well, again, I'm excited. I'm excited being here, and Reverend, it's good to see you.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we hear you. Well, can you hear us?
But I'm not hearing you.
You're not hearing me now. Can you hear me, Willie?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Reverend Gobah, you hearing
Reverend,
us?
Reverend Gobah, are you hearing me?
We all can hear you, Reverend Gobah. I guess
Maybe it's his
might be
audio
from your end.
connection.
Reverend Gobah, can you hear us? We are hearing you. We are hearing you. Can you hear us? Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us, Reverend?
Something is wrong. I'm not hearing you, Willie.
We hearing
My
you.
microphone is on.
Yeah, we can hear you, but you are not
We
hearing us. So, do you want to go out and come back in? You want to try to do that? We can kind of pause for probably like few seconds.
where did then call him personally and tell him he can go off and come back in,
Okay.
Yeah, I guess
or
he's
send
not
him a
hearing.
text.
Yeah, yeah,
He's not hearing us. He's completely off.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me call him.
Please do it.
You are hearing me, I know, but I'm not hearing you. That's the problem.
What he trying to call you? What he trying to call you?
I, you say you're hearing me, but I'm not hearing you.
Yeah. So, and you not
And my
muted.
microphone is on.
Yeah, we hear you loud. Can Jerry speak to him again? Because Jerry, speak to him again. Let me see whether he hear you.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Still the same. I put my microphone. I'm not
Are you
hearing you.
are you hearing us, Reverend?
We are hearing you clearly, very very clearly.
Very clearly. I like that. Very clearly, we can hear you.
I'm calling him, but it's what? Okay, I'm going to call someone very close to him, and
No, he said he was putting his phone on silent, so maybe he's not hearing you.
hey, mother, I know you. Sorry.
Hello, are you hearing us now?
Hand slip up on something or the internet connection.
Probably.
Yeah. Now he going low.
All right, folks. We want to say again a pleasant good evening. Thank you for being here with us. This is my Lutheran Connections. Uh, Today we have with us the Reverend Moses Gobah. He is a pastor from the Lutheran Church in Liberia. He was one of the contestants. We 2 Sundays ago we had the Reverend Moses, not Reverend Moses, but the Reverend uh, Zizi Molba Zizi, and Reverend Gobah is here now with us, so we're gonna be bringing him in.
Hello?
Are you hearing us now?
Oh, jeez. I'm hearing some grinding noise, but I can't hear you.
And you very
Okay, are you
clear.
hearing me, Reverend?
Testing mark. Are you hearing me?
Very well.
Yes, very well. Maybe he want to take off the Bluetooth. Maybe that's what the disconnect is.
Yeah, I went off and came back in.
Okay, that's off. No.
Are you hearing us? Are you hearing us now?
I hearing some grinding thing coming in, but not the voice.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear any one of us? Willie, can you tell the
Let me
person
go off
to...
again, come back on. Let me leave
Very
and come
good.
back.
Very
Yeah.
good. Very good.
Very good.
So, Willie, I mean, you were
Yeah.
trying
So
to tell... Yeah.
yeah. So again, we are glad to have our Reverend with us. The past couple of weeks we did not have our Reverend here with us, and we are so much glad to have him here, Reverend. The only Reverend on our panel, so it means that we are saved. We are saved. And while we are
But
waiting,
Reverend Yabazo,
Mhm.
I mean, it was good that you were on the ground
Mhm.
and you follow all of the processes religiously.
Mhm.
Knowing you as a very firebrand Reverend, do you think that the process went the way we all anticipated?
Yeah, I will say the church spoke very loud. The church spoke very loud. The voices of the people were heard, and there's nothing anybody could do. I think like I said on this show before, I've been a Lutheran, like Pastor Gobah said, I've been a Lutheran from birth, and nobody can take this church away from me. And I've told you, just as we will make all the noise, but when we get there, it becomes a different issue all by itself. All of us understand that the church is bigger than us. So, as we into contemporary time, those are part of modern democracy where people have the opportunity to speak up issues. And the only problem is that sometimes we forget that the church is not the public sector, or other sectors of life. So sometimes people speak to those issues like like they're in the public or some governmental places or so. That can be the only issue. But at the final analysis, when we all gather and sing those beautiful hymns together, then we realize the changes that should come, that Christ remain our focus, and none of us can be bigger than who we go to celebrate. Yeah.
So, Reverend Gobah, are you okay now?
You can hear us well.
Yeah.
Well,
So please,
I was beginning to think. I'm like, well, how can they ask the pastor to just take over and the other pastor say he can't hear? So I'm like, well, I think we need to bound this demon
No,
out
no,
of this
no,
microphone
no,
so
no
that
magic, no magic, and nothing clandestine, Pastor V.
yeah. I said, well, I'm just
This, this,
about to start talking to the
these
pastor, and
are
then they,
technical issues.
yeah.
That's internet. It's full of a lot of
Oh
surprise.
yeah, oh yeah, and I also understand that a lot of the older people these days don't get used to technology like that. They struggle with a lot. So
Yeah.
anyway, again, good to have you, Pastor Gobah, and I'm so glad because I know a couple of weeks back it was difficult to get any of you on this platform, and I'm grateful that we can have you. I know sometime last week my colleagues are Reverend Zeze, but then I was still in Liberia, just getting ready to leave. Let me just ask, how do you feel now? Now that election is over, how do you feel?
That's a very good question, but I'll be honest. Like I said to my friends in Liberia right after the election, for some reason, like a miracle or what, mentally and spiritually, I was feeling good. Only physically, I was tired because many nights we went to bed late, and I got my kind of tradition, and my friends always joke me on. I go to bed 8:30 because I kind of day person. I do all my work at night, so. But I feel very good now. This whole thing is over, and that's time to move forward. That's how I see my life, like put
Uh,
more
um,
into
yeah,
my
thank you,
to
Bobby.
the ministry. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if I want to give a follow up question to you, it'll be in twofold. And one of those questions will be, um, what's your message to the church? And if there was another election today, what will you do differently, or what will you tell somebody who's getting there to do differently, or what will you tell them to keep the mind focused to?
My message is simple.
Yeah.
Politics, sometimes dirty, sometimes politics never clean in a real.
Mm-hmm.
But the election went on, it's over, and we got a winner. If you go in election, you go with expectation. You expect to win or don't win. So a lot of things went on, which we don't have to discuss all the kind of detail here. But we do accept the election results as the way of the church, the way of the people. And next thing is to move forward. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I continue to tell my people who believe in me. So I tell them, I say, the election is finished. It's over. I called to check on them to see how they are doing. And they've been worrying how am I doing. But I said mentally, spiritually, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
I just been physically kind of tired, but that is over now. So my message that let us move forward with the church. The church, as he says, is the only thing that we have. I never work in my whole life. I never work any other place. That's the truth about me. I had never worked in any place before beside the church. So the church is bigger than us,
Mm-hmm.
and it's time to move forward.
The church is bigger than any of us, and it's time to move forward. Whitty, I'm back to you.
Thank you very much. I feel blessed taking the mic over from a Reverend. No offense to our ambassador there in Freetown, Sierra Leone, but when you are taking the mic from the Reverend to another Reverend, you feel blessed
Mm-hmm.
as a senior acolyte. Reverend, I would join my fellow co-host here to say welcome, and to I know we've already asked you how you're feeling, but for me, I want to ask you how you're feeling health wise because I understand you just had some you know
Yeah, some
medical
dental issues, but
yeah
that
some dental
I
issue yeah.
said it. Yeah.
Okay, all right, good.
Coming back to the States, in fact, I do a lot of evaluation health wise. I do my
Yeah.
normal routine,
Yeah.
and everything just fine.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I wanted to make sure because having some dental work is and being talking a lot. That's the reason why. But I want to pick up from Brother Tablo's question. Uh, his second question was, uh, you there was a protest against you, and the election committee did her work and came out with the findings, and we continue on to the electoral process. But prior to the elections, the last pastoral fellowship event that was held, or convention or meeting that was held, uh, there was information that the leadership of that team uh, omitted your name, and those in the diaspora, their names were omitted from the pastoral roster, or from the membership roster. What do you have to say to that? Because the fact that your name was omitted, it sends the signal that you are no longer a part of them. So, are you still a part of them, and what do you say to that action?
I wasn't there the day the meeting was starting. At the day I was traveling to the U.S. because I had to come to complete my daughter college enrollment scholarship process. So I wasn't there. I only heard from people say, "Oh yeah, this my name was not on the roster," but later on, I think it was clarified that it was a mistake. Whatever it is, the official roster of the church is the one that is produced by the office of the bishop. So if that was a mistake, fine. So we move forward, but the best I can say to that, I'm still a pastor of the Lutheran Church in Liberia.
Okay, Reverend, my second question. During our conversation with Reverend Zizi,
Yeah.
uh, he he was asked this question by one of our viewers from Cyprus. So just to let you know that we are being followed in so many countries, and we have been relayed in Lusaka, Zambia. Um, the question was asked that what is his stance when it comes to the statement, or the negative, that divide that was being propagated during the electoral time: us versus them, local versus diaspora, on the ground versus not on the ground. This question was asked, and I'm going to ask this question to every uh, pastor who participated and will be appearing on our show. What do you say to that comment? And you know, yeah, what do you say to that comment? Do you support the comment, and why?
Why would I support such comment? It's divisive. Us versus them. It's not what the church about. Even today's gospel, we read in the gospel that Jesus wants us to be one, to love each other. And this love is not passive love. It's a love that brings people together, uh, help people to fellowship, to worship, and to do things together that promote the growth and development of the church. Yes, I know politics. As I said, politics is there's no clean politics. I would say that. The only unfortunate thing, if it comes into the church and it's so dirty, it creates a lot of hate, a lot of things. So I do not support it. I heard it. I do not support it. I think we all are one, and we should remain one. Uh, you in America, Willie, uh, it, it's a blessing for you. And other people wish they were, having the opportunity to come to America, even they come just for study or come to whatever purpose. Everybody dream. I've come here as a young boy in Liberia. My one of my dreams is to come to the U.S. one day and to see this great country. So it's an opportunity for me to find myself here. So I know everybody want to come here, even just for a short visit. They would like to come here. So I don't think that it's about them and us. But sometimes the dirty politics come into the political arena of the church, and it create hard feelings. But for me, I'm a different person. I put a thing behind me. I'm not thinking about any of those things again.
Okay. Thank you, Willie. So we go another round, and we want to say again, thank you, Reverend Gobah. I mean, your answers to these questions makes it very simplistic, and it is not as we were thinking that it was, going to be complex. That is to tell us how you really understand the intricacy of the church. I want to piggyback on what Willie said as it relates to the cliche, them versus us, vis-a-vis the divisiveness of the church. I'm sure you will agree with us on this set that the church is indeed divided. Whether we like it or not, that's a reality. The church is divided for the fact that people don't even believe that you are a member of the pastoral board, and they omit your name, whether inadvertently or deliberately, your name was omitted. They had to file protest. Also, the issue of Orita Miller and the whole saga that went on at the LTI, and she got suspended. That is another portion, and people so bitter about that. This whole church, we call it Lutheran Church in Liberia, has seen a semblance of divisiveness. And now we are moving, and you say, let's move on. Let's assume for a minute that you will be sought. Your counsel will be sought by the bishop-elect on the question of reconciliation. What are the 1, 2, 3 ABC steps you think we should take in reconciling the body of Christ? That is the LCL. Knowing fully well that we are deeply divided. Let's look at the question of reconciliation. If your counsel is needed, what will you advise?
After elections, the first thing is to heal the wound. You can have all the different plans. I want to achieve this. I got a timetable to achieve this. And I'm looking for the resources to do this. I'm looking for whatever agenda you have. But for our own context, the first thing you want to do is that heal the church, heal the wound. Because as you said, there are a lot of things that went on, a lot of things were said, and some of them were not nice for it to be a church, I must admit. So if we want to succeed, my first recommendation will be is healing the church. Do everything possible to heal the wound of the church and to reconcile the church. The second thing is that every one of us, including you, will bring something to the table. And what we bring to the table is so significant that if we are excluded, I don't know what the future will be like. I'm not saying the context of me personally, but generally, everybody got something that it brings to the table to contribute to the growth and development. That gotta be encouraged, so that people will have the confidence of whatever they can do to have the growth of the church to bring it to the table. And the third thing is that, man, this is our church. We want to see the best out of it. We don't want to see the church breaking apart. We don't want to see confusion continue to linger. I mean, every church go through this. I've been to so many churches. I see a lot of churches experience different things. Unfortunately, we've been experiencing them. The whole election thing always bring out this hard feeling. But if we can find a way to do things differently, that would not bring this tension to the church, that would be probably helpful. But we all got something we bring to the table, including you. The information you're passing on today, that's a background, that's a gift, that's a talent you have. You bring something to the table. So if all of us are going to bring something to that table, that will be a blessed table that God can use to grow his church. But the church needs to grow. And the church
Thank
needs
you.
to be. Because the thing is, a divided church just show the immaturity of that. But a united church show clearly our strength. You say unity. I mean, we can be different in different ways, but we stand united in the one goal that we have.
Thank you. So if you are speaking to the question of the how, I think the first thing you mentioned is the issue of being inclusive. Everybody come on the table because they got something to offer, which is very good. The other issue of it,
That's the second. The first one is bringing about healing. You got
yeah,
to heal
and healing the wound, which will be weaved into the fact that if you want to heal the wound, you must be able to consider all of the views and bring on board everybody and not to divide, anybody going forward. That is true as it relates to reconciliation. And Reverend, you are a Reverend. You understand better than I do, and maybe Willie. When it comes to looking at the rigorous steps that one, we have to take when it comes to reconciliation. Reconciliation is not how you mention in a year. And we're not intending to throw, a memory that would not be nice. But sometimes if you want to reconcile, you must be able to show the true reality. You must be able to understand the intricacy and the true picture, because you cannot be cosmetic. You cannot just and do summary reconciliation. You got to go in depth. Now, I understood that we need to heal. I understood that we need to forgive. I understood that we need to include everyone because all of us are made uniquely and got something to offer. But then again, Reverend, I want to ask you still on the question of reconciliation. What is the process? When should the process begin? What are those thin lines that we should watch for so we cannot fall back into where we come? And when do you think the process should end? I repeat myself. When and how should the process begin? What are those thin lines we should watch for so we cannot fall prey to what happened yesterday that caused us to be divided? And when do you think, if the process should ever end, when do you think the process of reconciliation should end?
That's a very good question too. Just what happened in Liberia, we talk about the civil war, and some people say like bygone be bygone, all these kind of things I hear people say. And then other people say, no, we gotta talk about what went wrong. And then we will be able to know and then move forward. People have to pay the price for certain things they gotta pay. We can take the circular approach. We got a message of reconciliation. That's what our Lord has given us. If I was in that shoe, I would do consultation. Consultation gave people the confidence that, oh yes, so person is talking to me about certain issue. It make you feel like, oh yes, I think I think they want us to put this thing behind us. One-on-one consultation. You can do it with everybody, but you do it with some leaders, especially some people, active players. But the healing process is it's not just a one-day event. It's progressive. And the healing will be going on for a very long time. But consultation helps to get the other people view. So I don't know if I answer your question. Like it don't end. I say it's something that continue.
Reverend, you're fantastic. You always answer complex questions in a very simplistic manner. That will cause you to be a genius. You, I can tell you that. Before Reverend Yagbazo comes in, uh, before Reverend Yagbazo comes in, look at Witty. I want to say Reverend Witty. Witty, take time. Before Reverend Yagbazo comes in, Witty, would you like to recognize some of our viewers, please?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We want to recognize our viewers here. We want to recognize Mother Vliga Bien. And we have some new members too. Joining our family. Sister Lorena Piti. We want to recognize you. Um, we want to recognize our brother Rishki Kennedy, our brother Fit Hope and Love, uh, our brother Sumawiye, Jerome, Royal Jerome Jala. Um, we also want to recognize our Reverend, and we're gonna highlight this. We want to recognize our Reverend Mowa as Zizi. He's watching. He said, "I'm watching, and thanks for the service." Um, and I just want to reflect some of the comments here. Uh, our brother did make a comment stating that the convention has taken step in this direction, and he says that he thinks probably this is the last chance contested election in the history of the LCL, that moving forward we are not going to be having such contention. Um, and also he is making a recommendation. He is recommending that we get in touch with a local media in Liberia, so that we can be really looking at the high cost of data. Uh, yes, brother, you are right. Right now, we are working with uh, two local stations in Liberia to see how best they can help us. We are working behind the scene. We cannot reveal everything right now because things are still in the embryo stage yet. But we are working. Hopefully, by God's grace, we are hoping that, hey, instead of even contacting a local radio station, one early morning you're going to just get up to the sound of radio LCL, so or how ELLC ELLC or ELBC, something like that. But yes, your recommendation is highly considered. um, and yeah, and also we want to highlight uh, our brother Baxon Cully. Baxon Cully is watching from Batnersville, and he's watching from Batnersville. And there is a comment here. I just want to reflect quickly before I want to highlight quickly before we go to Reverend Yakwazu. Um, and Brother Sumawiye is saying that we should stop preaching divine message. God did His work. I think he posted this message when our lead host today, Brother Jerry Tablo, mentioned that the church is divided. And to be honest, no matter how you know what manner, shape, and form you take it, the church is indeed divided. During the time of the elections, we had too many divisive messages that were going across. Most especially, chief of them was this us versus them. Okay, and a whole lot of people did not take that well. And even I said it the last time during the when we were hosting Reverend Molba Zizi, that a prelate from the Baptist church who went to school with Reverend Zizi and some of our Lutheran pastors at GST. He called me and said, "What's going on? What's going on with the Lutheran church there in Liberia? What are some of the things that we are seeing on Facebook? So yes, indeed, the church is divided, and that's nothing we should shy away from. We should say the truth. I mean, we should be speaking the truth. And Brother Sumowe, I do appreciate you said that the when Reverend Gobah said that reconciliation and healing, and he said the process starts now. He said the process begins now, and I think he meant to say that it starts with all of us, including you and I. Yes, I do agree, and I think all of us here will agree that the process, we have to start from somewhere, and it begins with you and myself. But I will stop for here, and then I will let our Reverend come in. The only Reverend on, sorry, we have Reverend Moses Gobah, but the only Reverend on our panelist team, the Reverend V. Zexta Lila Yapazo. Maybe he would care to comment on some of those comments from our viewers there. But we want to go strictly to Ohio with our brother,
So,
the Reverend Yapazo.
so before Reverend Yabazo comes in, then you can just put the numbers so
Oh,
that
yeah,
viewers
okay,
can start viewing the
quickly.
numbers so that they can call. Yeah.
Yes, quickly.
Reverend Yabazo, it's all over to you, sir.
Thank you again, Whitty. Thank you, Jared, and thank you, Pastor Gobah. I think I just want to quickly and sharply say to Whitty, I don't think you did. I don't want to agree with you. I don't think you did justice to Smoweye. He's a very good brother. I think I respect his opinion, and I want to quickly say I don't want us responding to open-ended questions. Small way knows how to articulate the issue. We should not be guessing for what he was referring to. He should be clear enough to tell us exactly what divisive message we're preaching, and or who preach, who was preaching this divisive message. Let's not preempt for him before he says, "Well, that's not what I was trying to talk about." So the platform is still his, and he can come there and just as faith, hope, and love with articulate the issue openly. He can do that, and we'll know exactly where his comments are coming from, and if we can cross those T's and dot those R's, we will surely do that before we leave here. But this is my Lutheran Connection again, and we want to say hands up to all of you watching us, and thank you, Willie, for reading those comments, and especially we appreciate all of you always come here, our viewers, to see what is going on and how much we love this church. And again, today our guest on this platform is the Reverend Moses B. Gobah. Reverend Gobah, every time I interact with you, I've not had the opportunity to ask you what is B. Just quickly off the record, what does B in the name stand for? I know most people say B-ball. What's the B stand for?
You've been my acolyte for a very long time.
I know.
Anyhow, the B is for Bomboya.
Okay.
I heard when I was younger, I used to be a fat little boy.
Okay. Bomboya. That's good. Now I know I'm not going to guess it anywhere. And again, Reverend Gobah, thank you. And I'm glad you're here again. Like we said, we can't continue to stop thanking all of you, like the Reverend Zize, who was here last week, and you as here today. We look forward to everyone coming, and because we got this one church to move forward. And as you talk about, I'm glad that you ended the issue when you talk about reconciliation will not end. But let me just ask you this. Let me ask you this very simple. I would say elementary. Have you been able to reach out to some of the people who really thought that you just should not be a part of this process? Have you reached out to some of them, or have some of them all reached out to you? And what are the conversations been like?
Those guys are my brothers and sisters. I mean, we talk, we chat every other time. We check on each other. Some of them are very good at checking on me. It's not official. It's just brotherly who kind of a relationship that we have. So it's not because of the political part. Necessarily, but we've been doing this for a very long time. We check on each other. Hey, what's up? How the family and things like that. So a couple of them, even those who are part of the election, and one of them, in particular, I don't have to call the name, but like we talk almost every day. Sometimes we talk through the night. Just talking about different issues.
That's good. I'm glad that relationship as is, and the relationship still goes on. And just my next question to you, Reverend, I know you've been back now and you got a lot of things that has already been put behind you, and you looking at this church, and from all you said, you got a mindset, especially if you are reached out to, want to reach out to or not, you remain a Lutheran and you're willing to still help in any way you can help, and to share this great vision that you brought to the table. And let me go back to the issues with the issue that Jerry raised with you. I know you talk about the procedure of beginning reconciliation starts with the healing process, and you talk about the gospel today. And my own question to you will be, if you were asked to lead any of those processes that you mentioned, how willing are you? I know somebody will say, well, we listened to Reverend Gobah on the show, my Lutheran Connection, and the way he spoke about reconciliation, we don't think anybody could do it better, could start it better like him. So we want to just see if we can.
Pastor V, let me put it this way. I'm not expert in reconciliation. Yeah, even though my background had to do with a pastoral care, but in a different context of personal healing, people who going through different experiences in their lives. But when it comes to this issue, that's just what I see, but I always be open to bring anything to the table. That's what I said from the beginning. We all got something to bring to the table. And what we got to bring to the table is very significant for the growth and development of the church. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we got one caller. Reverend.
Yeah, the brother just went off. I will try to reach out to him. He was on the, so I'm going to try to reach out to him. He was.
Okay, then when you get him on the line, then you can just start. Reverend, maybe you want to throw in one more question, Reverend Yabaso, before the caller comes in.
I am back here. Thank you again, Reverend. I appreciate your response. And I want to ask you this, because I remember when I met you in Banga, when I voted, I came back and I sat with you shortly and had a flick chat before I walk out. What can you say to young preachers like us, to not only young preachers but even other older preachers? What does it take us to be as? What does it take to be as relaxed, composed, and fearless, like like you before? Because when I know during election processes, people jitter, especially when the elections are going on, people are terrified, people are troubled emotionally. But when I stopped by where you were sitting before getting out of the tank, I saw how much relaxed and composed you were. You by going in one or two times and they said it was not your time to vote. They were not calling you guys yet. I remember the parade. I remember you went in and then you had to come back, and then they say, okay, you guys will have to wait for so time before you can go to vote. But I saw how much composed, relaxed. What can you share with us, viewers, and all of us, young pastors, to say, well, I think I should take cue from this, so that the day I'm into something like this, I can carry myself in this form and manner.
So Reverend Gobah, before you ask that question, and then Wade got another question for you from one caller, then you can put all together and answer.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, brother. So please state your name, and then you can ask your question, and you want to be to the point, sir.
Hello?
Yes, hello. Go ahead. We hearing you.
Yeah, this is Sumo here.
Yeah, go ahead. We hearing you.
Yeah, I follow this show, and I want to be grateful. This is my first time participating on this show, and then following it to the details. And I also want to appreciate all of you for giving consent to my view. And so I appreciate all of you guys on show tonight.
All right.
In my text message or my comment to this show, I said, you stop preaching divisive messages. And at the end of the day, I measure another one. I said, we have to heal. All of us will have to be involved. Thank you, Reverend Ekbazu, for staying. Let's give some of the opportunity to say what exactly he means. And so what I mean is that I feel that the LCL is not being divided for the fact that the way this convention was being handled by God, not by human being, not by human effort. All of us from the diaspora, from Liberia, we wanted that convention thinking that situation was going to change from different perspective. But we went there from beginning to end. Human expectation did not come true. And so for that fight, I feel that God already did his work. So I feel that we are not divided. We are not divided. And so for the fact that God was able to hold us to that convention and there was no noise, so that is a clear indication that this is God's church and God's will was done and God's will will continue happening. So to feel that we have a problem into the church, I disagree with that. That is my point. And so if we keep pushing that we need part of reconciliation, I just feel that God taught the Lutheran church people a lesson and we should follow it and listen to it. That's my point. Thank you.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Maybe there's a question from one of our members.
Yeah, I thought it was a question for Reverend Gobah, but it looks
No,
like it falls generically. I know, I understand, but you know, the reality is just glaring, and there is no way we can hide that under the carpet. So I don't know when Brother Sumo said God spoke.
I beg you before the brother come in. This is their audio. Is there any way that we can? I was following you and seeing face to face, but I don't know what is happening that we cannot see one another face to face, and that speak a lot. Right now, I'm just speaking on audio. What is happening?
Okay, brother Sumo, so today we are having this exclusive conversation with the Reverend Moses B. Gobah, like we did with the Reverend Molba Zizi, and we are going to do with the Bishop elect, and we're also going to do with Reverend Janice Gono and Reverend Orita Miller Davis. This is a series, so we are going and if you are interested in us speaking on the like the concern that some people have, saying that there's division in the church, and you have us saying that there's no division in the church. We're going to have a special program on that, and we can invite you. We will send you the link and you will be a guest on the show. But for today, you are only contributing to the conversation.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for that clarity.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not been following. I appreciate you guys, and I will keep following.
Please do, and I will keep in touch with you from here. We're going to keep in touch with you.
Yeah, I'm really glad to be part of the show, and I will keep following. Thank you so much.
Yes. Any topic, any concerns and that you have, let us know. This is a program for all Lutherans. We keep our program focused on Lutherans, everything Lutherans. So if you have any other concern that has to do with Lutheran matter, just let us know. We can find time and we can bring you on the show. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
So Willie, do we have another caller?
Another question is here, not caller, but question.
No, another question. We can go to the question and we'll come back.
The question is here, added to what I just asked Reverend Gobah. I hope he doesn't forget this faith, hope, and love.
Yeah,
is concerned. He said, even though we got 6 whole round years, but someone please convey this, this concern to Reverend Gobah. Do you still harbor ambition to serve the LCL as bishop? That's
okay. So Reverend Gobah. Reverend Gobah, you can take the 2 questions.
Yeah, Reverend Yakpa's first question, and then the question from our viewer. Then, if you want to make a comment on what Brother Yakpa, Brother Wuyis mentioned, and then yeah.
Thank you. Well, the first question before I forget, Pastor Yakwasiro asks, what I advise to young people if the thing I realized about election, I've been involved in the LCL politics for a very long time. That's my probably fourth or fifth election. I've been involved over the past period of 20 or more years. When you go into such an election, you prepare yourself. You don't just go one-sided. You don't have to announce it, because if you just go with one mindset, this election, I have to win. Everything possible, I have to win. If it don't go your way, then you feel more frustrated. Not that you're doing things to, I'm saying things to discourage or follow people who believe in us. But I don't have to be telling you it. But I do everything possible to win. That's my expectation. But I also do know that you go into election, you either win or it don't go your way. Mm-hmm. So if you go with that mindset, that help you, to prepare. You do everything possible to win. But if you just go with one mindset and then if it don't go your way, the next thing you talk about confusion. All the people cheated me. Something went wrong. They did that. I know sometimes things can happen, but I think what happened mainly in this process is that I prepare myself. And I will not think that I was telling people. I don't have to tell people. But I prepare myself. And I make sure that I did everything possible so that I could be victorious. But still, it didn't go my way. It is God's church. So I happily accept the result. And I say, well, my life got to move on. I got to move on with my life, So the other question is that even those who believe in me, they ask me all the day, we have meetings and things. And I said, for me, this is a time of rest and reflection. That's the process I see myself in right now. So God got the future. I don't have the future. But right now, I'm resting, I'm reflecting.
No definite answer to that. I'm resting and I'm reflecting. Willie, I want to go back to you, but before I go back to you, just keep taking concern. I think this issue about divisiveness is becoming a strong issue on our left in our comment box. We see the issue. Small got two persons against his one already. He believed that the church is not divided. I saw the comment from Roy Jerome. There is division in almost all part of the church: women, men, laity, and the pastors. So he got Jerome as well. Then I see a comment from this Boston colleague right there who talks about the church is also in some way divided. As well. I agree indeed that the church is divided. We look forward to Reverend Padmo going to lead the process of reconciliation in the church. Whether this process is going to embrace our brothers and sisters in the States. My worry is some of those who show so much hate, envy, and bitterness towards their fellow pastors. I don't want to continue with that. That end of it, I don't want to go. So we got two persons who agree that the church is somewhere divided, and we got Brother Small who also believe that God has done his work and the church is not divided. So that's another topic for another time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a question here, but I'm not pretty sure the end of the question. But maybe we would just put it out there, and we just reflect it.
Different perspective.
So our brother Lawrence in Connie Jr. He says that what different perspective could you want our church to ship that you couldn't help? I don't understand
I think he said that you can't help until you become bishop.
So Lawrence just want to know. I mean, what perspective you think that the church could go in that you cannot do now as a pastor except you become a bishop?
Yeah, I
Is
understand.
it? Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what is on Lauren's mind asking the question. I already said we bring things to the table. We all got something that we bring to the table. If the table is open. So my best answer to that question would be that we all bring things to the table, Lawrence, including you. You got something you bring to the table.
Okay, then
So
we have our brother Sapphire. Maybe I would just respond to Sapphire quickly. If the team cares that I do.
A few
Um,
years back, I attended
um,
a convention in
yeah.
America.
So you talked about the Lutheran University and how far the process is. So the process has started. We have the Association of Liberian Lutherans in the America and the Lutheran Church in Liberia. They are partnering right now to have the Lutheran University. So at current, we are starting with two satellite campuses, Health Science College, and the state authority responsible to grant clearance to such a high institution have already done so. The state institute has done so. So yeah, so that's it for the Lutheran University. And also, he has a follow up question here. The follow up question he has is, how can we get some of our members that left the church? How can we get them back? So I think this is a question for Reverend Gobah. Brother Sapphire is asking, how can we get some of our members back that left the church?
Remember what I said from the beginning? We're talking about reconciliation, consultation, right?
Right. Hmm.
Yeah, so that the best way I can answer that question.
Okay. Go ahead, Reverend. You have a question?
Well, I was just going back and reading comments. So
Okay.
technically, then we also were agreed that from the comments coming from members as well, that there were things that brought division into our church, and we the best we can do is not to overlook those factors that brought those division, and we actually need true reconciliation. And from everything the bishop elect, so Royal Jerome would say it. He said the bishop elect needs everyone, and I like to emphasize that everyone of us support in moving our church forward. Not just buttressing what Reverend Gobah said. Not some, but everyone. Everybody brings something to the table to have this church united, to have this church, um, to have our infrastructures built and brought back to its pre-war status or so. Reverend Gobah, again, I said thanks for having you, and I always like the way you're very composed and you're not shaken by a lot of things. So, you know, as we talk about your position in this election and talk about, I know you just told us you went there, you did everything in your mind, in your strength that you thought would have allowed you to win, but you did not win. And then you go back and say, well, you think it is the word of God because this is God's church. Um, you guys were technically five in the process. And then you ended up four in the process. And I left for some personal reason on Sunday before the end of the service. But then I still followed the service on a local online TV called ITV. And then I saw a portion of that service where you guys, the contestants or the candidates, were hawking one another. What exactly was coming to mind as hug one another? Like I saw you hug Reverend Zizi, hug Reverend Padmore, Bishop elect Padmore. I saw you hug Reverend Jennings. What exactly, personally, what exactly ran through your mind, was running through your mind? Or what was some of the tip-top conversation you guys were having? Because we were not into that corner the candidates or contestant then now, but all of you were hugging one another, and I could see that joy. What exactly some of the things you guys were talking about? Yeah.
I don't know. You want to pick my mouth, Pastor? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what behind your question. Let me say this: we were 5, and all of us have people who believe in us, so they consider us as their leader, quote unquote leader. So if you go into an election as was just a couple of weeks ago, and the people followed those who they believe in. So to show a sign of reconciliation and healing, I think because I remember Pastor Palmer betting on 2 different or 3 different campaign tour we were on. He said we did the same thing in front of the people, wherever we went, shook hands and greeted each other. And then I still remember he saying, it is not us who divide the people, it's our follower who are causing the problem. But I don't want to go into that detail because I don't want to bring up things. But what I want to say is that this whole healing process begins with us, the leaders. If we don't start the process, how will those who follow us believe it? Well, in case they want to, we're going to exclude ourselves and don't join, the next thing they're going to say is that person is feeling hurt. Something wrong. Something went wrong. And that would not be a good a sign for the healing. But we went through an election. And in an election, only one person wins. You don't have 2 winners. And right after such an election, it brings people back together. And that was a symbol of reconciliation, healing that, oh yes, I may be feeling bad inside because things never went my way, but life, it's not the end of life. Life got to continue, So we're part of, they said, look, all our followers, look what we are doing. We're trying to bring you together. We cannot stay divided or doing things that will, continue to divide us. We got to bring all of us together and then move forward. So that was a symbol of reconciliation, healing. That is a process. As I said, it's a whole process. So one event or one activity does not just conclude everything is fine, but it's a work in progress.
Reverend Gobah, thank you so much, Reverend Yabazo. And I think Reverend Yabazo, you're a mastermind, and it looks like you just speak into my mind when you talk about the hawking. And because for me, I just thought that it was just part of the platitudes of politics, and I was looking for the genuineness in it. But since Reverend Gobah chose not to disclose what was being said in the ears of each one of them, they are clergy. We gave him the benefit of the doubt, but I know it was something good that was said.
And Jerry, trust me. Yeah. If I were still in that hall, I would have gone closer to exactly hear what was going on. But I watched that portion the portion on the ITV, so I didn't have the time. But I said to myself, well, if I was here, I would have gone closer to just hear, what's going, what the guys are saying to one another, because they were all laughing and hugging one another. I'm like, what is being said here? But I was watching on the TV.
Reverend Yabazo, let me just jump in quickly, right? We'll soon be wrapping up. Let me just jump in quickly, right? Reverend Gobah says something which is an affirmation of what Reverend Zizi said 2 Sundays ago when we had Reverend Zizi. Because we asked him the question, I think it was Brother Tabler who asked him the question, what was the communication line, or if there was any communication channel among the candidates, and he said that, it's not like I'm going to quote him directly, but it implies that except for our followers, but we were in constant communication with each other. We check on each other. That's what he said. He told us, he said they all checked on each other. When they met somewhere, they embrace one another. So I think I think these are some of the attributes of our leaders
Mhm.
that we see, that we see today and that we saw yesterday during the convention, that we need to follow instead of actually preaching that message. I mean, perhaps some people did not see it, but again, and not to not to really pick on one person, but people carry those messages. And like last week, I mentioned one of our senior brothers, and the reason why I mentioned him was because he was actually, he believed. I want to continue with that word. Like Reverend Gobah said, those who believed in our leadership ability. So he believed in the leadership ability of Reverend Zizi. That's the reason why I brought that up. But there are other people, there are other people that were carrying out those messages. And just an affirmation. If you look right here, I just want to share a few of these comments, and I want to say special recognition to the president of the National Lutheran Church Men Fellowship, Brother Molba Galoyan, Father Galoyan, and he cleared it just here. He said there's just too much hate in the church. Um, we are not happy that this is happening, and we want to say this for a fact that we're not happy that this is happening. But I mean, I think these are just real facts that we need to state, so that we, like Brother Smo, we just said, that we can build up. We can start to build up the reconciliation from somewhere. We have to start from somewhere. So he said, but I don't see it as being divisive. Okay, so it's like he's on the fence or somewhere, and he said, I know that people tend to hit one another whom they think don't
Think
think
their
their
way.
way.
Exactly.
Probably we need to rethink the purpose of the church.
Mhm.
And also we want to recognize our brother no, our sister Gawu
Mayango.
Mayango.
Mhm.
She is so excited that she can be a part of my Lutheran Connections. Yes, sister, my Lutheran Connections online platform has been around since last November. We had our first show with our one of our lead hosts, brother Josiah Jokai. So we've been around for a little bit, and we discuss everything Lutheran. Um, and also our brother Fit Hope and Love has a question here. Um, Maybe we can just reflect that question, and then take a one or two from Reverend Gobah, and then we'll be closing on this. He said that I understand there were some pretty good promises on
Already
Reverend
go back.
Gobah's manifesto. Since the voters decided otherwise, what happens to those promises? Is he
Is he
willing to
willing to
work
work
along
alongside
with
Bishop elect
alongside with the bishop elect, and
to make good some of those promises?
promises, or he must become bishop first? I think to brother, maybe Reverend Goba will speak on this, but to brother Faith, Hope, and Love, I think Reverend Goba spoke on that, saying that everyone got something to bring to the table. So once we all are caught upon, I would say for a fact that I had an opportunity to speak with the bishop elect 2 weeks ago, and he clearly stated this. He said he needs everyone on board, so all of the ideas and everything, and I told him quite frankly, I said, all we need to do is just to be receptive. We just need to be open to ideas. We have so many professional Lutherans, so many professionals in our church in Liberia. We have so many professionals. I mean, in on one of the platforms, brother Abel Lewis made a proposal. He said, um, then why can't we put together, like, a group of Lutheran professionals under one umbrella? If a church member has to undertake a project and needs some financial advice, they go to that group, and the group will advise them financially. If they need some legal help, they'll go to that group, and the legal people will help them. That's why our spiritual people are there. So again, this again, it starts with all of us to make ourselves available, but also to the captain who is steering the ship, or the pilot who is captaining the ship. We have to be open. If the pilot doesn't open his doors, the passenger won't get on the plane, because he is the pilot. who is moving that identical aircraft.
Okay, so Willie,
I'll go
let
back
me
to
just let me just weave him something, and then maybe we can
get a word
just
before we go
give
on.
get a word from Reverend Gobah, and maybe that could be a closing comment. But I just want to weave in something similar to what Faith, Hope, and Love raised. But I think he was a bit generic, and I want to be a bit specific, so it gives Reverend the chance to answer. Reverend, some times ago, I understood you participated in how you call it, we call it a town hall that was organized by the St. Andrew's Church. Some of us may not have had the opportunity to listen to the manifestos. Like the colleague said that you had a lot of promises. I didn't listen to it to hear some of your promises. But I know you spoke on the theology of the growth, the spiritual growth and development of the church. I want you to, on a kind of reflection, to highlight the theology of the economic growth of the church in our contemporary time. So we are not only talking about the theology of spiritual growth of the pastor and the church, which is key, but we're looking at the theology of the economic growth of the church. You might have thrown light on that, which will help as a kind of tapestry to say that is going to help maybe the bishop-elect to piggyback on some of those manifestos, some of those lines that you were saying. And for the fact that you're on the show, it is even more interesting if you could reiterate, some of those things. I know you're not only looking at the spiritual growth, but also looking at the economic growth of the Lutheran Church in Liberia in terms of sustainability. What are your manifestos? What were your ideas? And how could you recommend as part of, the recommendations you want to make to the bishop-elect?
So I'll go back to the first question I was asked about, and then I just want to say, I said it a couple of times, including the person who asked the question. We all bring something to the table. So, including him. So we all can do something to help our church in any way possible. The second question you asked about not only the spiritual, but I say start with the spiritual. And one of the things is that if you want to know a mature church, a growing church, you know it by their giving. When people grow spiritually, they appreciate their spirituality, their personal relationship with God, and then with the church. And then they want to see how the church move forward. Then people give. So with all the spiritual foundation, we got it, but we need a revival. We need a revival into it. And things to sustain the church, that's something that we've been talking about for a very long time. People will understand what it means to give to the church for the growth of the church. People get to understand it and all of these things come from the basis of the spiritual part that people understand. But as it is, as we see our church, I would say almost 90 or 95% still to be corrected, depend on donors support that come from outside. That can be reduced. And I'm not saying you can eliminate it completely right away. But if we can reduce it, to some good level by investment, people being sincere with the church and seeing this is my church, I need to give to the church, I need to, all of those things come from the spirituality. When people start growing spiritually, a lot of things happen. A lot of things. You don't even have to talk a lot, just the spiritual aspect of it. People start seeing their personal lives changing. They start feeling the joy of being a Christian, belongs to this church or to this body. And they want to see the best that comes from the church. That person spiritually will want to give back. to where they find their spirituality. Yeah, but we need to do something about it to reduce it. And I say we're going to eliminate it completely in one day time. It's a work in progress. It might be a long work in progress, but it also depends on the spirituality that will set that foundation for people to live.
Thank you. Is that Brother Abel Liwedi?
Yes, I see the pre-birthday person back.
Yes, yes, that's me, Jerry. That's me, Jerry. Thank you so much, Reverend. It's a pleasure joining you people. I'm so sorry I came from another meeting tonight. Got a little bit late, but I'm glad that I can see you on the show and then trying to let's shape a lot of issues. I'm here.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, go ahead, Reverend. Go ahead.
No, I said thank you. Even good to see you because since man, a couple of weeks now we are not seeing each other. Though we talk 1 or 2 times. So, and happy pre-birthday.
Thank you so much. Tomorrow is my birthday.
Yeah.
At 10 plus.
Today is Josiah's birthday.
Yeah, Joe is my birthday mate. Right
Yeah.
after him, I come next.
By the way, he's already his birthday. Technically, if you look at the time, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost. But the distance from Yapua to Paris is a very short distance.
I like that.
Abel.
Yeah, Jerry.
Abel. We are happy that you came on, even though we're wrapping up now. But we want you, before your birthday, to give Reverend Moses Gobah a birthday treat by asking him a very, very serious technical questions that he may not be able to answer so simplistically that he's been answering ours. Because every time Reverend Yagba and myself and we think that we're asking Reverend Gobah a complex question, Reverend Gobah will just simplify it. So we don't know how to catch it, and we won't really catch it. So if I please ask a very technical question for us before we go.
Man, if you got fought and did not succeed, I don't know if I will succeed with Reverend Gobah. Yeah, but on a very serious note, I've just been appointed on the Reverend elect Bishop Palmo transitional team to work on projects and programs of the LCL. Of course, and invitations are welcome very early, and I take it very seriously, ever than before, because they got to do with the LCL. After elections, is no longer about Reverend Palmo, is no longer about Reverend Gobah, is no longer about Reverend. It's about the Lutheran Church in Liberia that got us to be who we are.
Yes.
And
yes,
I take it very seriously.
Absolutely.
Yes. So such an invitation is an honor, but at the same time, it's an opportunity for us to work together as a team and see what is available. What can we do together to make this church better?
Absolutely.
Reverend Gobah is a very fine character, and that's the reasons why we don't regret the reasons why we supported him. We don't regret why we follow him. During the campaign process, I said, all of our pastors are good. I'm following Reverend Gobah because of his vision, because of his mission, because of what he stands for, because of what he's capable of doing. Of course, unfortunately, the elections turned out to be the way it is. And the way it is that results that we all accept at this moment to work with it. And I know, including Reverend Gobah and all of us, we are willing to support the process to the fullest, whatever way we think we can support it to make it better. That's what we stand for. And that's the essence of the church. My own concern with Reverend Gobah tonight would be around the issue of reconciliation. Because we're not doing the electoral process, too many things happen. There were a lot of mixed information. There were a lot of issues that got to do with divides and separations and segregations and all of these things. Of course, sometimes you expect those in elections. It happens because elections are marked by emotion. They are marked by tension. They are marked by misbelief and misinformation at different levels. But I strongly believe in my heart and in the hearts of Reverend Gobah, I believe he's satisfied with the results that the SCS gave. And that's the reasons I think you'll be willing to work with that result. But my question to him tonight would be, how can we go about the issue of reconciliation, of reconciling the church? Both those that voted, Reverend Pamo, who had a high expectation thinking that miracle would take place from heaven, and those that didn't vote him, who are disenchanted and also insecure and thinking that maybe they will be taken out of their parish assignment and their positions and the rest of that. How do we reconcile all of these things so that we work together as a team? Maybe I want you to comment on that.
Thank you, Eva, for that. As you rightly said, you are supporting me because you believe in me. You believe in the ministry that I serve, that I've done in the Lutheran Church in Liberia for years, and you've been one of those who've been following me very closely. So when it comes to healing the church, it starts with the leaders. Those who consider us to be leaders, people who've been following us. Take, for example, what happened right after the election when they asked about the hawking and all of that. To me, it was a sign that, look, if we can do this, why you following us? Why you can do it, in the same way we're doing it? It may not be perfect. There's nothing perfect about this reconciliation. It's a whole working progress. It will take time to heal, but there's some effort you have to put into it. But it starts with us, the leaders. If I start to misbehave, for example, on your show or even on wherever place I go, then I create tension. And then those who follow me and believe in me, they follow my action. And then things will explode and it will not be. But if I remain kind, even if some of them want to explode, they will remember and say, but Reverend Gobah not behaving the way we expect him to do something. He's not saying it. But it starts with us. I will put it that way. We, people who believe in us, we got to cool them down. And make them to understand this is election. You go there, like me, I prepare myself before going there. I have to tell people, what my preparation is. But I went there with high expectation to win, and I did everything possible to win. But I also know in myself that, hey, it's possible that I may not win. So what would be my reaction to all of those things? So I prepare myself for it. So if it starts with the leaders and begin, the followers see how we are carrying ourselves, how we are behaving. I believe people who follow us and believe in us will easily calm down. But most of the tension are blowing now. You could say people who are following us, maybe they got different view or things, But we had to calm our people down and tell them that this is election. It's over. Let us put the thing behind us and move forward. And this whole reconciliation process, I said, is outreach, it's consultation, and people will feel that they're part of the church. For me, the church is all that I know. I know working in any place before beside the church.
All right, folks, there you have it. The Reverend Moses B. Gobah, pastor of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. Um, we had him today as our guest. And Reverend, we want to say again, thank you very much for honoring our invitation. We know this has been long coming. We want to say to you and your family, we want to say thank you very, very much for being here with us today. Um, can you please just give us some closing comments before we can check with our other host, and we can
Yeah,
end.
first I'd like to address those who were part of our team. You know, I want to say thank you. You're a hard worker. I believe in you. You did everything possible. We all work as a team, but this is election. It either go our way or it doesn't go our way. And thank God for whatever happened. It's time for us to put behind us, the past and move forward. So let us embrace each other. And I said to the greater church, the LCL in particular, whether you voted for us or not, this is the church that we got. We can't continue to continue the way, to bring division into the church. Let us put everything behind us and move forward, and then let's see. We'll all be proud when we see our church growing and developing, and we will always be proud to identify wherever we go. But if we start to break apart, it just show our immaturity uh, as a Christian. And I show that we are growing. We're not immature. We are growing. So thanks everybody who participated. Thank you also for uh, allowing us to come on this show today. Been long awaited, but finally we made it. And
Yeah,
that gave me some confidence now that I can come back sometime in the future, I'm not a television person, I'm kind of quiet person. But thanks also to everybody. And God bless you. God bless the LCA. God bless the church. And God bless all of us. Amen.
amen. Uh,
So we would like to say thank you, Reverend Gobah. And maybe at this stage, we will allow uh, our colleagues to just give just 2 seconds at most their own closing perspective, and then we can call this a day. I will begin with Abe. The last shall be the first, and the first shall be the last. So Abe, you came last, so be the first.
Thank you so much, Jerry. And I love the remarks from Reverend Gobah that is so inclusive, irrespective of everything that happened during the electoral process. He remained committed in serving ministries and committed in serving the Lutheran Church in Liberia, which is a very strong message that will go out even to our bishop elect, the Reverend Pamo, that is willing to serve, is willing to remain committed servant of God, and it all got to do with it. As your Reverend want to say congratulations. Congratulations for your service. Congratulations for the resilience. Congratulations for this patience. Congratulations for everything that you did to make this process as peaceful as it was. And here we are today. SCS back is back, and we are all just joking about what happened in the past, and everyone laughed with it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eva.
And Wade, I wanted to make you last, but I think you will go first before Reverend. And since I'm the host, then I'll be the last.
sure, sure.
So
I
Wade,
mean, I'm always ahead of the Reverend because I'm the acolyte, so I'm always ahead of the Reverend. So, Reverend Goba, we want to say again, thank you very much for being here with us. To all of our viewers and to our all of our church members out there, our brethren. You know, there is a song that says, "You my brother, you my sister, so take me by the hand, together we can walk." You know, and I was in the choir before, but I will sing that song another time. But yes, and it is very true that, like Reverend Moses Gobah said, that we can only move forward and we can only go far. Okay, we can only go far when we decide to work together, to walk together. Okay, we can only go far. Okay, uh, so this is just my own, message to all of my brothers and sisters, uh, that the church is all we have. Okay, I mean, I and I can tell anyone, the opportunity of even, I mean, maybe someday I work and get money to travel to other countries that I want to, but attending the HIV and the International HIV and AIDS conference in South Africa, Durban, South Africa, and sleeping in a very good 5-star hotel is through the grace and mercy of the church. So, and the church gave for that platform, and God been blessing us. And even when we move up here, we still continue to be with the church. So the church is all we have, and I hope that that message, because I'm saying this, but it's with a lot of people. A lot of people have this, on mind. That especially that message of them versus us, and on the ground versus not on the ground, local and diaspora. A lot of people still harbor that message. And I hope that that was only just during the campaign time, that we all can see reason to put it behind us and move forward. Okay. And with that, our church, we can do a whole lot of things together. We can do a whole lot of things together. So again, I want to say thank you all folks. And brother brother Josiah Joker, I know you're watching. Um, Quickly, folks, let me just sing this quickly. I know not everyone here can sing, but I know the Reverend Yakwazo is gonna give me the time to just do this quickly. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, brother Josiah Jokai. Happy birthday to you. So today is our brother's birthday, Josiah Jokai. He cannot be here with us. He took excuse, and tomorrow is our boss birthday. Our boss's birthday. Yeah, our chief executive. Tomorrow is his birthday, and I know the Reverend on set will be giving some blessings on to our celebrants today and tomorrow. Thank you all so much, folks. Thank you very much.
Reverend Yakwaso?
Hey, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Abe. Good to see you since I left Monrovia. Just encountering you here. Good to see you. And thank you, Reverend Gobah. There's no best time we could ever have you as we had you today. Thank you for everything you said. I'm looking forward to tapping into that anointing to keep me stable as you always will be. Even in the midst of turbulence, water, you remind me about Jesus on the boat with his disciples and say, in little times, that why don't you just remain stable? I've learned to be stable from the way I see you. I appreciate that. That's something I learned from you just in the short time of the election and now. And I think that's so much good of you. And I pray that you keep it up. And I think it comes from no man, but it comes from God. That's a gift that you have in you. Thank you so much. And I want to say, yesterday, one of our best doctors was laid to rest. Uh, the Reverend, I mean, how you call him, Dr. G. Gweningali. We
Yeah,
want to
Dr.
say
Walker
hands up to his family. We say, may God console all of you. I know it's a difficult thing to lose a loved one, even if they are old, but you still miss them a lot. And Dr. G was an access to this church. And even as he was laid to rest yesterday, the pain are still into the hearts of a lot of folks. And I saw that they even buried him to a very memorial ground right in the front of the Phoebe Hospital, where he spent almost all his life working and saving lives. He was laid to rest there yesterday. We want to say to the family on behalf of this Lutheran Connection team, we are so sorry. And we pray that God will continue to console you as you mourn the loss of your dad. It's not only you, but this entire church as well got that lost. And to our viewers and those who comment here, I'm so impressed about all of the comments. It's unfortunate that we can be able to read all, but we appreciate that you keep coming and keep doing all you do to move this. I consider your ministry forward. And let's do all we can because the church is all we have. Again, thank you, Willie, for this opportunity. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Ava, for this opportunity to be here and talking about the Lutheran Church. Thank you so much.
So on 2 minutes, I want to say thank you to all of the colleagues on the set. I want to say again, thank you very much, Reverend Gobah, for honoring our invite. And we hope that you can come again on another topic of your choosing. And we are open to receiving you and hosting you so that you can be able to give us more insight on many other issues that you have on your mind. We want to extend our appreciation to our viewers. We want to thank them for the comments. And we also want to thank our caller for calling. And this is the Lutheran Connection. Until then, we see you next Sunday, God's willing. Thank you.